How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to yet another interview. My name is Sleegi with ESPN Esports, and today I am pleased to be sitting down with Gyro of the Peeps. And, before we get everything today, Gyro, I just want to say thanks for sitting down with me today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be invited.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you on. And, just to get things started, I wanted to kind of start off by getting your thoughts on this new format. It seems like a lot of players, in general have been liking the feel of everything, but maybe some of them not liking as much having to play against the lower skilled teams. And I was curious as to what sort of your thoughts are on that.
For the new format, I think most of the players like how the format is because everyone wants to play more Rocket League. I don't think anyone really cares who they play against. But for us personally, we like it a lot because we're really good against the bubble teams. So we usually don't drop games to them. I think we're like 16-1 against every team that's not top 4 right now. So it's really fun to play against a lot of bubble teams, but the upsets are the only thing that would make us think otherwise, I think.
Yeah, I can definitely understand sort of an upset coming through, maybe ruining your mojo a little bit. But no, I mean, you guys have been doing extremely well so far, but you guys have also been playing a lot, especially the Peeps. I mean, the regionals and the grid, but then also you guys competing in the field and the Astro tournaments. And, I was curious, like, do you ever get worried about getting burned out with the volume of Rocket League you're playing, or is that not really something you think you have to worry about?
I think for regionals and grid, we're not really worried because that's like RLCS every week. The field, we only play that once a week as well, so we don't really burn ourselves out since we have to play scrims every day anyways. Most of us just want to keep playing like competitive and just at the top level because that's the only thing that makes us want to keep playing. So, no, I don't think we get burned out. I think the more games, the better, honestly, because if we play less, we're gonna get more bored of the game.
Yeah, I guess that's fair because the more games you play, sort of the sharper edge, I guess you're sort of able to maintain. And speaking of that sharper edge, you and AJ obviously have been playing together for a while. But I was also curious as to how has Aleutian fit in with you guys overall since his essentially being added to the team.
Oh, I love playing with Illusion. He's really easy to play with. Like he just fits rotation. He gets a demo when he needs to. Me and AJ, we've only been team for like a few months. It's been like 6 months, I think. But I think I understand how he plays and he understands how I play. So we all have pretty good rotations from the beginning. And Alu's just like an easy person to play with. So I think we could all just ape around the field and still do good.
No, I think that's actually really helpful as well because sometimes you have teams where everyone plays well and maybe the morale's not quite as there, but it really sounds like you guys also just get together well as well.
Yeah, I mean, Alu's like the more mature one on the team. He's the oldest one on the team, and I think we really needed some maturity since me and AJ are really dumb. So we needed someone to calm us down and get us more focused on the game, I think.
Well, I mean, I think that's been working out so far. You guys have been seeing a whole lot of success. I mean, you make it all the way to the semifinals in the first regional. You go 3-0 in stage one of this recent regional. And, with all of that success, what are you doing personally to make sure that you're able to maintain this momentum that you guys have been able to already build up to this point?
I think the main thing is to keep doing what we're doing, to keep talking to each other whenever we're making mistakes and being honest with each other. Playing pretty much every single day, scrimming every day. I feel like whenever we take breaks, it's a bit harder to go back to how we were with momentum wise. So yeah, I think this next regional, stage two, I think it's gonna be a bit tough because we went 3-0, but every other team went 3-1. So we're probably gonna play like an SSG or something round two. But I hope our momentum could keep us through it.
Well, I mean, one of the big things though with the Peeps, right, is when you get into those situations where I'm not going to say necessarily people anticipate you losing, but you're playing against a team where maybe the crowd will see one as more favorable. You guys end up tending to pull it off. Is that something that you sort of feed off of, or is it just you go into each match sort of with the same mentality of you're just going to have to try and win, or do you enjoy playing those teams where potentially you are the upset if you can come away with the win?
I mean, I think it's really nice being the underdog because there's less pressure. But at the same time, I feel like we just don't really pay attention to that as much because we know how good we are in comparison to other teams, and we know what teams we can beat, and we know like game planning how it's going to go. But I think from the outside perspective, everyone just thinks like G2 versus Peeps, like instant win for G2 or something like that. So I mean, I guess it's fun beating them and then seeing everyone just go like, "Wow, they just beat them."
Yeah, I mean that's the birth of don't sleep on the Peeps as well, right? Like you just I've every time I see whether it be the analysts or the chat or whatever being like, oh yeah, the Peeps don't have them. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would say that. You might be putting yourself in a bad situation, but with all the success that you guys have been seeing, obviously it's been in a lot of online events up to this point, and with that. Hopefully, lands returning sooner rather than later. But with the eventual return of lands, is that something that you personally are sort of looking forward to, or do you prefer these online events more?
I think me personally, I prefer LAN events because it's just the energy is like a lot higher, and I think I perform like the same on LAN as I do online. I think a lot of players tend to play down when they're on LAN, so I think playing the same as you do online is really good. I can't really talk for AJ or Alu much, but I'm pretty sure they would say that they like LANs too. It's just a lot more fun, and there's a lot more games, and you could talk to everyone else.
Yeah, especially the crowd too. I know it's been one a lot of people mentioned about just feeding on the energy, but final question before I let you go today. But I'm really curious, especially after the results of this stage 1 of regional 2, is what are your top 3 teams in the North American region right now?
I feel like people are gonna hate me for this, but so it's I guess I have to put SSG as number one, even though like I feel like Envy is probably like really good, but because they just like destroy us every time we play them. But I think SSG number one, Envy number two, and I think people are gonna hate me for saying I think third/fourth is tied with us and G2 at the moment. But because I think we have a positive record against every team except G2, SSG, and Envy. I think we're like 2-0 against every team. We're 1-0 with G2, and then with SSG and Envy, we're a losing record. So, yeah.
That's actually really interesting because I kind of agree with you to an extent. I definitely see SSG and Envy as a sort of top 1, top 2 teams. G2 and the Peeps as well. Obviously, I'm thinking doing well, but I kind of want to just follow up real quickly. Where does that sort of put NRG on your sort of list? Because I know a lot of people, generally speaking, are continually putting them in the top 3, but with the way their results have been, where does that place NRG in your mind?
I mean, it's kind of weird to say because it's NRG. If it sounds weird saying like NRG is not in the top three, but I think they go at number 5 right now because we we beat them in the last grid, and then after beating them, they played like Sonics, Alpine, PK, and they made it to the finals and got second place. Whereas if we beat them, we probably would have been there. So I think they go 5th here, but I think they could definitely turn it around because they like 4-0 swept everyone when they first formed.
Yeah, they've had a lot of up and down results, whether like kind of looking at the grid, but then back to the regional. So I think I actually kind of agree with you. It's not as much of a hot take, but we'll see what everyone else thinks. But interesting insight. It's always really curious for me to hear what sort of the professional players' thoughts are, because you always hear everything coming from the analysts. You always see everything on Twitter and Reddit, but it's kind of hearing that come from you and placing G2 at that spot is really interesting for me. But again, I appreciate you sitting down with me today and answering any questions. And was there anything else you wanted to add before we cut it off?
Illusion is nuts, and Moopy sucks. That's it.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, everybody. We'll see if the Peeps can continue their ways later this weekend. They got the grid and then also stage 2 of the regional. It's going to be a really interesting time, especially as we get closer and closer to the end of the split. But thank you again for sitting down with me, Gyro. And this has been another interview on ESPN Esports. If you want to see more, or you have ideas of questions or professionals or whoever you would like to see or whatever you would want to hear them answer, let us know. We always take a look. But that's going to do it for us this time. Until the next one, y'all have a good one.